Exxaro has reported an 11% rise in first-half earnings. This as its coal exports rose due to greater rail capacity provided by Transnet Freight Rail. While the international price of coal declined 31% over the last 2 years in dollar terms, the miner says a weaker rand saw the price fall by 7% in rand terms over the same period. Headline earnings per share stood at 793 cents in the 6 months ended June, while shareholders received an interim dividend of 260 cents a share. Earlier, I spoke with CEO Sipho Nkosi and first asked how he'd characterize the performance of the business in the first half.
I think if you look at the environment, it's been a tough environment insofar as the economy is concerned. I'm looking at the global economy where we sell our product, as well as the domestic environment where we operate, because of a lot of changes. I mentioned the long strikes and all the others. But I must say that through it all, we have been able to produce the kind of result that we have produced. And if I look at the past in terms of Exxaro, with all the projects that we have, things are coming together. If you look at what is happening now at Medupi Power Station and the offtakes that Eskom are starting to make, as well as the deal that we've just done with Total insofar as the exports are concerned, everything is just coming together in the life of Exxaro. So we're quite excited about that.
To what extent has the delay at the Medupi Power Station impacted on your business, given that you're planning to feed into it?
There will always be an impact. The delay will always have an impact. But the good thing is that between Eskom and ourselves, we have managed to negotiate, as you heard when we talk the numbers, to ensure that where we have been exposed, because we spent just over 10.2 billion on expanding the mine. Of course, this money belongs to shareholders. They expect a return out of that. And Eskom right now have been very, very helpful in ensuring that at least the fixed costs that we have, that one we are not made worse off. So we were very happy with that.
To what extent did the decline in coal prices affect your business?
It is negative. But all of us have been in this industry for many years, and we've seen these things in the past. There was a time when coal prices dipped to close to $15 a ton. So, but it happened probably 15 years ago. Things have moved now, but these things will happen. Cycles are there in any business. So this one is very important. It has happened, but there are many factors to that one. China is no longer booming as the way it was, but it's still doing very well. Other economies are battling in Europe, where we're selling our coal, and in the Far East, in some instances, they are buying the coal, but there are many other supplies that are coming through from destinations like Australia, like Indonesia. All of them are there. And of course, the impact of shale gas in the US, people have tended to swing the coal that they have in the US into Europe and other places. So that has had an impact in the business. But, if you want to be in this industry, it's a long-term industry. You must understand that it's a long-termish game.
Now, you touched on your acquisition of Total Coal South Africa. To what extent do you expect that particular business to boost the value of your overall business?
Well, there are things that we cannot say today because we're still under some agreements with Total. But what we have agreed with them is to just add some more color. That the way we see it is that if the rail line, the capacity of that one is at 91 million tons, we would, as Exxaro, have been at 6.3 billion tons in terms of export. Add to that what we have acquired from Total, which is 4.1. Obviously, we are just over 10. We're getting close to 11 million tons of coal, which is significant going forward. So if you continue running and maintaining your costs very well, you'll do very well. So the impact of that one is very significant. It's also significant in the sense that if we didn't have this tonnage, we wouldn't be in a position to open up new opportunities, mines, particularly in Waterberg. Now it gives us that flexibility to do that, which is good for the country, good for employment, good for everything that goes going
Now,
in the industry.
you seem to be excited about the prospects for the future, but your business is very much sort of 90% delivered to the domestic market, 10% to the international market. So to what extent can you actually leverage from the developments that are happening overseas if that's your mix?
Well, I'll put it this way. The biggest growth area for coal is the Far East. And what is important for us is that we're highly exposed to Eskom today, but it's important that we balance that mix, and that's why we acquired the Total asset in order to deal with that one. So we will take advantage of the growth in those particular areas, but the other challenge is diversification, as I kept on mentioning that one. You know, if you're sitting in South Africa in terms of your freight cost or your freight rate, you pay more to buy from South Africa than buying, let's say, it's the eastern side of India. You pay more from South Africa as opposed to Indonesia, which is close by. So those are things that we work around. And when you talk about diversification, you can talk about probably acquiring or being part of that development in that area so that you take advantage of that.